Man, listen, who would have thought this weekend we would have got the weekend we just got, right? Craziness in college football, right? And who would have thought it would have been National Signing Day for college coaches, right? And maybe this is a new thing, a new theme that's going to happen going forward, right? Especially with the way the sport is going. Maybe the last week of the season before we get into conference championship week is officially College Coaching National Signing Day. Man, it's been a crazy couple hours. We're here to talk about it. Welcome back to Athletes Forum Podcast. You think about everything that just happened, right? And all the midst of all the craziness that just happened last week with James Franklin, the Virginia Tech. The SEC might as well have had the craziest shakeup out of all the conferences, right? LSU made a massive move. We all know about that. Florida finally landed their guy, or is it their guy? Auburn kind of reloaded, and the ripple effects that's going to happen when it comes down to the Penn States, the UCLAs, the Michigan States, and we're here to talk about it, all right? Now, let's not waste any time. Let's kind of dive into things, right? And we're going to start down in the boot, right? And we're going to start down in LSU, right? Down in Baton Rouge. LSU hired Lane Kiffin, and it became literally the headline of the entire coaching cycle, all right? Whether you love him or you can't stand him, is really one thing certain, that Kiffin wins in the SEC, right? Lane Kiffin has a pedigree of winning in the SEC, right? And you think about everything that he's been able to do and everything that he's been able to accomplish, at Ole Miss, right? There's no doubt about what he's been able to accomplish, right? He recruits, he develops, right? He develops quarterbacks when you think about that, right? He creates explosive offenses. That was weird, right? And LSU is really betting big that he's going to fix what Brian Kelly really wasn't able to accomplish down at LSU, right? So what are you getting from Lane Kiffin, right? Well, LSU they're getting one of the best play callers in the game right now, right? There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that, right? The SEC, you think about Kirby, you think about Saban and what those defensive-minded coaches have been able to do. Well, Lane Kiffin's coming from a different perspective with one of the most elite offensive minds in college football, right? You see what he's been able to do and turn Ole Miss around, right? The amount of, in the last 3 years, the double-digit win seasons that he's had, right? It's a talent upgrade. It's a talent upgrade in regards to LSU, right? You think about, at LSU and what that program has already had. You think about NFL receivers, stud defensive linemen, right? You think about elite speed everywhere. Imagine what Lane Kiffin is going to do with that talent. That talent, top 10 talent, is the floor every season at LSU. You think about something he had to do at Ole Miss, and that's went through the portal, right? The king of, NIL power, and now the king of the portal becomes a dangerous combination when you think about it. Kiffin's one of the best when it comes to transfer portal recruits in the country, but Ole Miss really didn't have LSU level type NIL, especially donor support or reaching, what LSU can reach. And this is one of the main reasons why he left, right? He mentioned it wasn't about the money. He mentioned, at LSU, well, he didn't mention it, but at LSU, the NIL money is bigger. The brand is stronger. The recruiting backyard in Louisiana is deeper than what it is at Ole Miss, right? Now, if he's able to dominate the portal at Ole Miss, imagine what he's able to do to add to the foundation, the backyard talent that he's going to be able to get down at LSU, right? So, you can look at this in a couple ways. Also, LSU finally gets their swagger back. This is a coach unlike Les Miles. This is a coach unlike Brian Kelly. This is a coach unlike Nick Saban. The closest you could probably compare him to in regards to like quirkiness would probably be Coach Ed O, right? This is a totally different opposite side of the spectrum from what they got with Coach Kelly. Not to mention, he dominates rivalries, right? And LSU needs that right now. They need to win those. They need to get back on the board when it comes to beating Arkansas, when it comes to beating Alabama, right? And beating their rivals. When it comes to putting the fear in Georgia, right? Owning Mississippi State, right? LSU needs someone who could literally punch back at these schools, the Texas, the Alabamas, the Oklahomas, the Georgias. Kiffin gives that punch. Kiffin gives that punch that is needed. Not to mention, we talked about his development. What he's been able to do with quarterbacks has been game-changing. Think about Jackson Dart, Matt Corral, right? Blake Sims, Jake Coker, Chris Robinson, down the FAU days. The FAU days, right? Give him any type of 4- or 5-star at LSU, he's going to turn him into a superstar. I actually wouldn't be surprised if Austin Simmons transfers from Ole Miss and joins him at LSU, all right? Again, LSU immediately becomes a playoff contender. That's the floor expectation. There's no rebuild. There's not a year or project. There's not a year to slow down, right? It's his playoff berth, SEC West title, top 10 offense, transfer portal overhaul. Kiffin needs to make that immediate impact now, and that's going to be the expectation. Now, this instantly makes LSU the most entertaining team in college football. And that's no hyperbole, right? Lane Kiffin, the type of pedigree he brings, right? And LSU becomes must watch, right? They're going to become most watched, especially when they play Ole Miss, right? Down at the Grove, right? And what that's going to look like, right? This is going to be interesting to see how this all pans out, right? LSU gets Lane Kiffin to be their next head coach, right? Really, really huge hire. It's been the top name in the coaching cycle outside James Franklin, right? So what's the biggest storyline here, right? Kiffin inherits kind of the SEC ready talent day one. Tigers still have NFL dudes all over the board. You could literally breathe that LSU air and get a top 10 recruiting class. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Now you're adding Kiffin to the mix. We'll see how this all pans out. We will see how this all pans out, but shout out to Lane Kiffin. The biggest question is, and going forward, is going to be, our coach is going to be allowed to finish the season if they take a different job. I don't really think it matters on the level with the way this college football schedule is and the portal, right? A lot of things are going to start changing in college football. So we got to gear up because this could be the start of a trend, a theme that we got to get ready for. And that is in National Signing Day for college coaches last week of the season, all right? What's next? What we want to jump into. Remember, it was a